These are my friends. Come along with me. See how the story ends.
That's just where it was the last time.
Got it.
And welcome back to another Professional Hippies podcast. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm getting fat.
I'm glad you said it, not me, man. A true friend would tell you, and I haven't said anything yet. So if you guys like our show, you might not even know us yet. We like to bridge the gap. It's been a while since we've done the formal introduction, eh?
Yeah.
Bridge the gap between the hippie woo-woos out there, which, hey, we love you. We are one of you. But we also like to be a spokesperson for, why don't you earn some coin, buy some nice things for yourself, like deodorant.
Yeah.
Dirty hippies.
Yeah.
So we like to bridge the gap between capitalism, consumerism, and maybe crystals. I don't know. And if you like that kind of stuff, hey, subscribe, because we'll show up in your feed. Helps us help you, because then we understand what episodes you might like and what you want to see more of. So if you want to see this episode, check it on Spotify. That's our plug. We're done here. Hey, did you watch the fight Saturday night? I've got a whole board of things I want to get you catch
Yeah,
up on,
I did not watch it. I was a little busy, but I was at a concert. Went and saw Polish Ambassador. If you've ever heard of him,
Is that an American DJ? I just want to bask in the sweet irony of if that's an American DJ.
I don't even know. I think he's Eastern European.
Has to be.
He looks like it.
Like, that's if you told me the Swedish House Mafia was Canadian, I'd be like, what are we doing here?
I don't know how he was wearing a tracksuit though Saturday night. It was hot out there, and he wore a tracksuit. But man, I was surprised. The place wasn't packed, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of hippies though.
Did you go to the place? What's it called? Where'd you see him at?
Janice
Live. Yeah, that's a nice little venue. If you don't get stuck in a pothole or something, if there's not a hole right next to you, it's a really nice.
There's a nice crate right in the middle of the venue. If you get stuck over, it's the sewage coming from the bathrooms behind you. So every now and then you get a good whiff if you're standing over it. Yeah. They're not gonna fix it. That's kind of just part of the experience, but
it's okay. Everybody needs a little something to take home to their wife at the end of the night, and sometimes it smells.
Sometimes it smells. Keep the shoes outside on that one.
Well, I was asking about the fight because I did watch it, and I got zooted for it. I'm not even gonna lie. That was my favorite part of it is seeing, can I stay awake through the fight? Mm-hmm. But also, Abby passed out her own accord and was just sleeping on the couch. So I decided to put on a war documentary because I was watching the fight on my phone. So the only reason I thought to ask you about this, because the guys at the barbershop when I got my haircut today, they all kind of gave me a little bit of side eye. I don't know. I just had to take a stand for violence, I guess. I was like, I'm already watching two gents try and kill each other. Like, I wanted to watch people actually kill each other. So when I said it sounded kind of bizarre.
Like, why watch WWE when you can get the real thing?
Right. So when you mix THC in this equation, I would nod off a little bit, and I would come back, and I'm like, oh, that's right. This fight's happening, and there's bombs going off in the background. It was cool, but I didn't bet on Hitler. I knew the outcome on that one, so we like a good underdog story.
As they stormed the beaches, oh, what a knockout! He's coming around up to the bunker.
Honestly, though, watching some of that, here's the other weird part. Okay, I got a couple confessions during this podcast. I'm also reading The Third Reich, which is the story of Hitler told from someone on the inside or whatever. I don't know. So that's been my nightly reading, is reading The Third Reich and just understanding, how Hitler came to be, whatever. And if the story gets too boring, like last night, I was like, this is getting kind of dry. You just skip to the invasion part and just spice things up a little bit. So you kind of flop between his obsession with his teachers not loving him or whatever, saying he was a very average, bland. I believe the paraphrase was his face would blend into the others to him ultimately invading Poland. I'm curious how the Polish ambassador feels about that one.
Yeah, I'll ask him the next time I go
Let
see
him
a
know.
show.
I mean, I was really just doing my best to kind of give that whole story an arc, and I feel complete in the end.
It was quite an arc. What I did learn is to watch out for the normal ones, out of that. That's
If
the
there's
one.
anyone to kill in a shooting,
It's the ones. It's not the ones that sit in the front. It's not the ones that sit in the back. It's the ones like in the middle of the class, right? We always talk about the lazy kids in the back. We always talk about the nerds in the front. What about the middle people, right, in the classroom? You know why we don't talk about them? We don't ever talk to them.
they're not the outliers. They're not the
outliers.
outliers.
But that's because since we're not paying attention to them, those are the ones that grow up to get away with things.
For sure, the ones in the front and the back are the ones going places in life. That could be, new business. That could be prison, but for sure somewhere.
The ones in the back take a little bit longer. Like it's prison, then sales, and then they get there. The ones in the front, they just get there a little bit quicker. A little bit more boring, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if you were to chart out kind of like how they do the follow-up studies, like I forget what the term is, like the long-term follow-up studies. How many of the students sitting up front over their lifetime prefer missionary?
I don't know, man. I feel like those are probably the kinkiest ones, right? Like they're sitting up front. They're not doing much else. They're not going out. They're being really nerdy. So they have a lot of time to like ponder and think about things. And they're already stuck at the computer, so they can look up whatever they want to imaginatively look up, right?
Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. That's fair. Well, you could couple it too. You could track missionary priority, preference, and how many of them eat rice cakes on a weekly basis. That tells you a lot about someone. And you put peanut butter on a rice cake.
I mean, they got flavored rice cakes now. It's not so bad anymore.
Well, hey, the other thing I want to get your ear on is can you take a look at that picture I sent you? And let me know if so to paint for everyone at home. I have a pergola. If you don't know what a pergola is, one, get cultured fucking animals. Second, it's a thing you have in your backyard with you like grow the ivy on it or whatever. So the paint when I bought this house is starting to flake off of it, and the wood is already kind of rotten. They just kind of painted over it, So rather than doing the responsible thing of replacing that wood and repainting it, I just figured it would look really cute and save me a lot of trouble if I just grew ivy on it.
Let's retain the moisture that's causing it to rot. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, it'll definitely give it more. It won't take away from its structural ability. That's for certain.
No.
Oh,
let's put weight on the rotting wood. So that way it could take itself off.
Any weight added by a couple of vines is for sure gonna be reinforced with the curlicues. So I asked my mother her opinion on climbing ivies, because some sprout, some don't. I don't know what I'm getting myself into here, but I do know out front that I've had some ivies pop up and look like they're gonna kill a bush.
Yeah,
that's the ivy in question. My mom wrote back and said, "Hey, have you done anything with that?" And I said, "No, why?" And she goes, "I'm pretty sure you're thinking about manicuring poison ivy."
I was just about to say that legitimately looks like poison ivy, buddy. I just wanted to let you know that.
So when we were getting ready for this show, my fingers were tingling, and so was my forehead. Because she called me right before I got on here. So, trouble travels in threes. I think that's a lot of three. Beware of me.
Wow, dude, you love poison ivy. I think you were just attracted to it.
But it just tingled and it went away.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're that highly allergic to it, but your skin definitely was like, "Hey, we don't like that."
Yeah,
that's oil.
I can tell you, that spot right there. God, I'm gonna give in right now. Oh God, it's been tingling for a minute.
You're just making it with driving in that skin for sure.
That's okay. So, but this brings me to my question that I wanted to potentially get
I hope
to.
I hope on your trip it's just like a few red spots right there.
Imagine going to New Jersey, potentially one of the most pivotal business meetings I've had in years, and I just break out with rashes across my face.
You just got pink stuff on your face. Like right here.
I mean, at that point, you're running it all the way in the ground, and I'm for sure going to get like the red wax dot in the middle and just make everyone think like I've converted to Hinduism.
Yeah, I just went on a spiritual trip. It's
I
a
found
temporary
myself.
tattoo. Temporary tattoo. What about the bumps? Part of it.
Do you trust a guy? Do you trust a white man like me, white, pasty white, that has a I don't know. It's not wax, is it? It's what they do with the design drawing. What's that called? Anyway, I don't know. I can't remember right now. Do you know what I'm referring to?
A hentai tattoo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not to be confused with hentai. So, would you trust someone that has, a white pasty man like me, with a little red dot right there? Would you trust him more,
Hold
or
up.
someone that has red rashes all across their forehead?
Hold up. Do you hear this right now? My Alexa just said something about music and is now playing music for no random ass reason. What the fuck was that? It does some weird stuff sometimes, man. It's weird.
You ever ask her to whisper to you?
I've asked it to make fart noises. I've asked it to whisper to me. Asked it, do you like yourself? I was like, all these kind of weird things. But every now and then it just cuts on, does its own thing sometimes. I'm like, cool, someone's hacking my system. That's great.
I wonder how long it is until AI is like truly sentient.
I mean, we're probably not that far off. Sorry, but I didn't mean to interrupt you, though. I just heard it talking through the headphones, and I was just like,
That's okay. I got a timestamp. We can come back. So after that brief intermission, no, I'm just kidding. What were we talking about?
Hentai tattoos, not to be confused with something else.
So would you trust a man that has a little red dot here, as pasty as me, more than you would trust someone that's got poison ivy rash on their forehead? Like if you're going to get into a business dealing, want to give a business card, interested in follow up from.
No, I trust the poison ivy guy far more.
Why is that?
The only thing I think of with the red is I go, look at this asshole.
Mm.
I gotta really get to know you, figure out why you got the dot. Now I gotta listen to your backpacking journey that you did over to there.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure it's great, but like,
How much more cultured I am than you.
exactly, I gotta
How
hear
many
about
countries
that.
have you been to? What's
I
your
gotta hear
favorite
about-
place?
How you start saving rainwater all the time now, instead of buying it, and you learn that their culture is better than ours because they have better burgers than us. Because they don't make burgers, because they save the cow, just all that kind of stuff, So
Yeah.
I want the poison ivy because I'm like, hey man, what woods were you in? Where? And then he goes, no, I just planted it in my backyard. And I'm like, oh,
Oh, so
I like
speaking
the
of
other
which,
guy
we didn't
now.
even get to the root of the issue.
okay.
Do I just accept that this is, with all intensive purposes, most likely poison ivy, and continue to procure a clipping, cement it in the root powder that I bought from Home Depot, thinking this was for sure a great idea, climbing ivy, put it in some root stimulation powder, and plant it in my back porch, and make a wall of poison ivy?
No. But what you could do is, if there's someone that's gotten on your nerves lately, go plant it in their yard. And maybe get away with it for a little while.
I just think poison ivy gets such a bad rap that, like, is it really such a bad idea to, like, for no reason at all, obsessively grow poison ivy? And I mean, like, really just give it some love. Who's loving poison ivy these days?
Well, poison ivy doesn't love us. It literally secretes an oil to tell us to fuck off. So I don't think the plant
could be
likes
like a
us.
stray kitten. It just hasn't been fed what it needs, so it's lashing out.
It literally tells us, "Can you not?"
It could not scream louder. Fuck off.
Like, please, here's an oil. If you touch me, if you look at me, if the wind carries the pheromone to your nose.
But
stay
here's the other thing: catnip. The reason it dissociates cats is because it wants them to forget where they got the goods from, but doesn't want to kill them. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna get you a little high, buddy, so you don't remember where I'm at, and then,
I mean, there's a good chance it looks like it for sure, but the leaves kind of look a little fat. You might just have a vine, but it's growing like it's poison ivy. For sure.
I always thought poison ivy grew and that is the thing I learned from you. It can be poison ivy, it can be poison oak, so it can grow kind of like a bush.
Out on it can grow like that. It can be poison stomach. Fuck that stuff too. One story about poison stomach. We had we went backpacking a couple of years ago, and I had a buddy in our group that was like, we were out there for a week, right? He was like, I'm done. I'm going back to the main camp. And the main camp was like this little camping resort station where they had pack mules, all kinds of stuff, right? He decides to head back a day early. We stay out back in the forest. So we hiked back there the next day, and he's telling us about how he hooked up with this girl there. Their family was there. He hooked up. She's like 23 or something, camping with the family. He hooked up with this chick out there. Had a great time, told us about all that, right? So we get back. I fly back with him to Tampa, and he's like, man, all the way back from Tampa, everything started itching, dude. Like, I mean, all over me. I'm looking at it. He's got hives breaking out all over him. I'm like, dang, that's crazy, dude. You must have just got something out there in the forest. And I go, is your dick itchy? Like, I was like, is your dick itchy? He told us, part of his story that she was like all over his neck and everything. You could see the stomach all over his neck. And I was like, didn't you say you fell off like the table outside while you were having sex? I was like, did you fall into a bush? He's like, yeah, like against a tree or like a little bush. And I was like, oh, dude, you hit poison something.
Oh.
And I was like, please tell me you don't have her number. Please tell me. And he's like, oh, yeah, I didn't get the number or nothing. I was like, don't. Trust me, you're going through something bad. She's going through it worse. I guarantee you. Do not.
Oh, no.
Yeah, whole mess of poison stomach. And it was out there. I remember seeing it.
I mean, imagine the follow-up story on that girl, too, because she's totally thinking she's got something.
So, for sure going, what the hell? And he looked like a little hippie, too. So, she's like, I definitely got something from that guy.
Peace, love, and loves, baby.
Peace, love, and carry that love with you.
Yeah, I've been craving a camping trip, by the way.
Me too.
Me
too.
It always seems like one of the things that gets pushed. I don't know why.
Because there's prep work that usually goes into it, and you're like, or I can go do some Frisbee golf or something.
I did do that Sunday.
I want to get into Frisbee golf. I freaking lost Frisbee not too long ago in a lake. Went Frisbee golfing.
But yeah, so Frisbee golf is traditionally called disc golf. And then you have ultimate Frisbee, which is like the cardio.
Sorry to all the professional disc golfers out there.
Kai, what you eating?
Calling it what it is.
You eating one of my discs? I mean, literally as we're talking, I'm wondering if Kai is eating one of my discs. Got a couple bite marks in a couple because he would go fester him out of the closet. And so, I'll take him with me because there's some beautiful courses around Tampa and St. Pete.
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend you do it. And you meet cool people, I lost 2 the last time I went last week. I lost 2 and I found 1. So I'm net positive. I think 3 discs I've lost.
Yeah, I lost 1. I found 2 in the lake. I went wading out in the lake. Everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, I'm getting my disc back. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I've lost 3 or 4. I've found, I think, 6. And it usually comes from when you go to do the stuff that no one else wants to do. Like you throw it in a lake, you're like,
Yeah. Well, I forget sometimes, like, I live in the city now because we did the Super Bowl party, and it just so happened a possum walked into the yard during the middle of the Super Bowl party, right? And it was just chilling there, and everyone's like, oh, my gosh, a possum. And I didn't want the little thing to get scared or whatever, so I just walked over there and just picked it up by the tail. You know, I was like, oh, a possum. And everyone starts freaking out. They're like, you picked up a possum. What are you doing? It's got rabies. And I was like, what? And it clicked. I was like, oh, all of you think this is a dangerous animal. It's like,
they look super dangerous. I mean,
they look dangerous, but they'll either run from you or just chill. And I picked it up, I moved it out of the way, and it gave me a little nod, like, thanks, bro.
anytime I've touched a possum, all it does is it hiss and then it rolls over and plays dead, like out of anger.
It just wants belly rubs. Belly rubs.
They notoriously
Little
have
scratchy
a
scratch.
very low rate of rabies too.
Yeah.
Your
I mean,
chances of
they're
getting
like,
rabies is like 0.003%.
everything has a chance of getting rabies.
Yeah, right. I do know this though: raccoons, man, stay away from those jokers all the time. Like if you see
Yeah, I don't wanna
raccoon
get
during
near
the
those.
daylight, just leave them.
Just stay away from it. Yeah, don't get nowhere near a raccoon during the day. There's a reason why it's out, and it shouldn't be.
I mean, but I guess in general too. Just
Possum,
stay away
too.
from raccoons. But
Possums, too. They shouldn't be out during the day. They're very night creatures.
have you ever seen the deers that they get some kind of virus where they'll just start wandering around, like walking in circles and hunters?
Start foaming in the mouth. Yeah, there's something. So, someone was on Joe Rogan's podcast where he talked about it, and they actually have a program now that if you get like the way to test the meat after you kill the animal, you test the meat. If it has it, they have an actual facility to like dump the animal now, so that way like they can stop the spread of it as much as possible. But the guy was basically saying they haven't found it has encroached into humans for eating yet, but he's like, why take the chance if we can stop this thing?
Dude, yeah, imagine if like people start catching that. Then that really will be like World War Z.
COVID.
COVID.
COVID. Don't get COVID with the COVID.
By the way, what happened with COVID? Are we still doing that? Is that still a thing?
What's COVID?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I see people wear their masks every now and then, but like,
Keep seeing these Pfizer commercials. Like, if you get COVID, get it early. Get this now. Take the pill.
did we just collectively
pill.
accept it's not a thing anymore?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people do now. And it's the ones that are like, it's still around. It's like, just stay in your house then. Don't come out here. Causing more problems.
When do you feel like was it about a year in when we're like, okay, this thing's gonna go a while? Like it was about a year where like most of the hope was starting to get crushed on how long we're gonna do the mask thing.
What was it? It was March was the official like 2 weeks. So then I'd say probably 7 months into it when I was like, oh, this is going to be a Bennett. For
Yeah,
sure.
that 7 to 9 month mark was when it was like, this is a bitch. This is a problem.
I had one of the best years I ever had. I mean, we went to Tennessee. I did something else.
I mean, on a personal level, it was sick.
I had a great time. I
Bought
made
the
a
house,
President's Club,
launched the podcast, changed jobs.
made President's Club for work. I
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I mean, by all accounts, on paper, bring it back. You know, but
it was that year that COVID was the epitome of like, how are you going to come out of this? You know, how are you? Are you going to let a little flu take you down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, it kind of feels like I don't know. I don't know. It's like public opinion just totally okay, fuck it,
Everyone just got tired of the inconvenience of things.
right?
Like, what are we doing? And then all these people now that are still whining and complaining, not wanting to work, and they still want their free checks. That's becoming a problem now.
I wouldn't mind one. Are they
All
handing
the-
them out? How do you get one of
and-
these?
Well, think about the free checks. You know how we're doing a lot of the tech layoffs right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the good reasons I think of it was that the tech companies all had a lot more people were using technology, right, during COVID because they're stuck at their computers and their phones. So all the tech companies hired more people influx and help with that. And then all of a sudden, a couple years go out, and now all these people don't really need them. So they're like, all right, we'll just lay all of them off. And they weren't hiring like experts. They're like, we'll just hire all these college kids that are just out of college to do all the grunt work in the meantime.
That was the other part I didn't understand. I've seen quite a few videos about how like seasoned salespeople are out of work right now, like getting laid off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Like a salesperson's commission.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? Like
I just think they're big enough now they don't really need, like they all these companies that were hiring a bunch of sales reps during that time to boost business. They're like, hey, technology is where things are going. And they hired all these sales reps to try to boost all that up during that time.
I guess they have base too. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to the idea of a base.
Base is nice in the sales world. It's nice having just that comfortability at least.
Yeah.
To know like, hey, I'm working. I'm doing what I need to be doing. It's just taking longer. And so I can still put food in my belly.
Well, that's when you have like a longer sales cycle. That's what it's there for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The longer sales cycles, like my sales cycle, could be like 3 months. Sometimes big ones could be like 6 months, you know?
When I was, I bought a phone dialer, phone burner last month, and one of their advertised things was TriNet. I guess.
Oh, yeah?
I guess a lot of your people make a lot of cold calls. Is that a pretty typical thing?
Yeah, it's a lot of people. They want us making a bunch of calls, small businesses. It's a very like keep hitting them until eventually. The MySpace, a lot of people just like you're like constantly switching vendors after a few years. That way you get better rates or something, right? So like you stick with this vendor for a little while. Eventually your rates just keep ticking up. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And then they just go, all right, we'll go to the next vendor. And then they're able to get a discount, and it just keeps rotating. So you just keep hitting until it's the right time.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, that's just kind of the thing about rates. Speaking of rates, I saw the FHA is rolling out 40-year loans. They just approved some 40-year loans.
40-year loans? What the hell?
Which,
you get half your life.
By the way, I'm down for.
Yeah, I mean, if you play it right.
But how do you... Do they have like an age requirement on that? Like if you're 60, you get approved for a 40-year loan?
You could. I know people that have done that. The debt just carries over. No, does it? If you die, does the debt? I think the debt carries over to the kids if it's like a house, like a mortgage.
No, it goes to
if
the
they
estate.
take on the mortgage. But if they take on the house, right? If the house is granted in the will to the kid, does that carry over?
If they want to, they don't have to forcibly take ownership of an asset.
No, of course not. But they can't. I guess they could sell it, and then if there's a profit, they pay off the mortgage and then take whatever's left.
They have to refinance it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like because now the liability is going from, say, George to Jane. The bank wants you to refinance it in Jane's name, right? So
yeah. If you don't have any kids to give it off, the bank probably just takes it over.
I think in that case, I think they do an auction. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
40-year loan, though. God dang.
Yeah, right? I mean, because that was another thing I'm thinking about is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Because like one of the beautiful things about working for yourself or as a contractor, the market does incentivize like tax-wise. Like I'm sure your ass gets taken on taxes, right? Because you're W-2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the other part of it is that the market does incentivize like a lot of like small business stuff, but it's pros and cons, right? Like if you want to buy a house, you have to have 2 years of established tax returns versus if you're an independent contractor versus you can get 1 month, a bank statement and a letter of intent from your employer that you're going to be there for a while. And the bank's like, okay, that's good as gold. And you can buy a house that month.
Man, the first thing that goes to my head is the employer writes it like, hell no.
Yeah, right.
Just fire next week.
Yeah, why would we want to keep him? We're just using him.
We don't. He'll be gone. He'll be laid off here, and COVID's almost over. We're gonna lay him off. We don't need him anymore.
I'm just thinking like Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know, it's like that's one of the things that I know you've been interested in, and something I'm getting a lot of interest back in is seeing like, okay, the market's kind of stabilizing. Like a lot of the money people are saying like, okay, I think we have hit our bottom, and that all the people that locked in rates around 2.5, 3%, they're probably going to become accidental landlords. They're just going to buy the next property at 7, 8%. There's still been no mass inventory to hit the market. You know, it's like there's still a shortage of supply. So
I don't know. It depends on the location. I was just driving through Florida, going through the back areas of Florida, and there is so much new construction happening in the middle of Florida right now. It was insane to see how many new homes and condos and everything being built up.
You're talking like central, like Lakeland type area, or
like
boonies?
Between like Lakeland and Kissimmee and Disney. You know how that was just all boonies?
Yeah.
All land developed now. All brand new in development currently. They're just obviously prepping for tons of people to move here.
Yeah.
It is wild. When you drive down to Miami, all the areas that were previously going down, get closer to Immokalee, all being built up now too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but that can also be a case of how our micro environment influences our macro impression. So like seeing those homes.
Well, I mean, I go out to California for work too, and when I go out there, there's tons of inventory. No one wants to buy anything because everything's being sold out there. Mm-hmm. Everything's being bought up here. When I was in Dallas, I looked around. Everything's being bought up there too. But you go to New York, and it's all open real estate there. Tons of empty places. So it's just, I guess it depends on.
Definitely depends
on what you're looking at,
right? But the housing prices are still pretty stable. I think everything's come down like 15, 20%.
Yeah, they've definitely come down a little bit. We just need the rates to come down a little bit. That'd be nice.
But I'd like to, you know, my goal is to be in a position where I own 10, 15, 30 homes. And I recently
should have kept that one. Should have kept that one in Ybor. Just rented it out.
Should have, yeah. But I'm also grateful it gave me the runway I have right now. Right.
That's true. Nice chunk of change during that time.
Yeah. So, you know, pros and cons, and that house had a lot of things where you're like, is this going to be worthy holding on to it? But I'm curious to see how the gas works is going to impact that area. Have you seen what they're building in Ybor now?
No.
It's kind of like what they did with Armature Works. The same people are going over to build a similar thing in that area. So,
that guy's family, that it's a Columbia restaurant family. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, it's him.
I mean, imagine having that kind of like, that's something I've been doing recently, is like doing these just mental masturbation exercises of like, am I not putting myself in the frequency of money, or like what do I need to be focusing on to become the person that has fuck you money? And is that something I want?
I'll tell you this, that guy that owns that, and he started the Armature Works in Columbia. So 6 years ago, 7 years ago, down in Ybor, a lot of the USF football players were enjoying going down to Ybor, and I guess something had happened somewhere near an Ybor, like a stabbing or something happened. Just someone got killed down there, right? And so the coach, USF coach, banned USF football athletes from going to Ybor. He was like, I see you down there, you're going to be disciplined. The owner of the Columbia, which donates so much dang money to the USF, was like, if you do not publicly retract your statement, I will, one, stop the donations to USF, and I will stop advocating for USF. Oh, and then your program also will be hurt, and I will direct a lot of your boosters to somewhere else. Very next day, public apology immediately.
Yeah, because Ybor's fun.
Ybor's fun, but he's also the one that keeps the chickens around. Oh
yeah, that's the other part. Fuck him and his family for those goddamn chickens. That was the other part that I wanted to say.
Those chickens are everywhere,
dude. I I scored yesterday buying some planters from this old lady. Yeah, I'll say it. I'm proud of it. I shop on Facebook Marketplace. I was at Home Depot and I was just like, fuck these $60 terracotta pots. I'm sure somebody's selling some for nothing, right?
Or free. Let's just like take them off.
Yeah. So I hop on Facebook Marketplace and so I got the transmission replaced in the RV. I had a check engine light come on naturally. So, but they were like, hey, after 50 miles, the code should cycle through or whatever. So I was like, all right, let me just go run some errands in the RV. So
if you ignore the problem long enough, eventually it goes away.
Right? And I asked the guy, I'm like, hey man, you're pretty confident. Just drive it. And he's like, yeah, man, should be good. All right.
You've brought it to him so many times. He's annoyed with the RV. He's like, just drive it. Maybe it'll go.
I was
away.
like, do you want me to just put a piece of duct tape and slap it on the dash right there? I could unscrew the light.
Little black marker, cover it. There we go.
I'd be lying, man, if I didn't admit that I really did want to just unscrew the check engine light and sell the thing. Like, you will never see a problem coming. Ever.
You won't see it. It might happen. You won't see it coming. No, but you don't want it.
So I was driving around town. I had to go just run some errands. I was going to Ultimate Frisbee. Like I took the RV to the park and the whole 9 yards.
You know how many people were probably, this guy's living the dream. He's just out here playing Frisbee golf, getting in
I was
his
having
RV.
me a Billy Madison moment. I had my sunglasses upside down and I was bouncing up in my seat, rocking out, heading to the park. And some lady honked at me and I'm like freaking out because one of the rims is missing a lug nut. And I know this, but I'm thinking, hey, the tire might come off. I was having trouble finding this lug nut. She was just letting me know she was passing me. And I was like,
you
ever been next to an RV, ma'am? We wobble. Okay.
A little wobble.
Little wobble. The whole reason I was saying all this is because I went to pick up these like pretty big ass planters that I have out front in the RV. And I told the woman coming, I was like, hey, I could get my truck and come back, but I'm right down the road from you. And so I rolled up and sweet old lady. She was selling her home. She's like, yeah, we're thinking. She's like, oh, you aren't kidding about the RV.
We're thinking about getting one too.
Yeah, I was like, well, I got a lot of answers for you. She's like, oh, that's so nice. I mean, what can you tell me? I was like, first off, don't do it. Second off,
$12,000. That boy can be yours.
No, our asking price right now is probably gonna be like 25, maybe 26.
That's true. You've actually fixed it up and got it.
Dude, it runs so good now too. Is the thing. It's like I'm like, really?
Did we get those steering wheel working so we're not like back and forth?
Yeah. The other cool part is
nice.
too. Remember when I asked you to do, hey, can you silicone that bead, like on the top, so the water didn't get in? And I was like, could you put some painter's tape down, just so it's like even? Well, now the seal is broken and it looks like shit because you didn't do painter's tape. So it's like,
you didn't tell me to do painter's tape. Don't put that on me.
Oh,
You
no,
said,
for
"Come
sure
up
I
here,
did. Because if you look
take
on
your
the other
finger."
side, it's this nice crispy line all the way down. And
If
then,
you would have told me to use painter's tape, I would have used painter's tape.
no, you
Don't
said,
treat me-
and I quote, I can do it straight. Fuck off.
Yeah, and I did it as straight as my finger allowed me to do it.
It looks like if you took crusty ass Elmer's glue and just every so often flicked it up.
There we go. It worked.
So the other day I got on the roof and I was like, look how this is doing. Oh, sweet. Nothing. Just water. I saw water. Some rusty ass water came out the electrical socket in the master room.
Yeah.
I was like, how'd that get in there? I don't want to know.
That's not supposed to be there.
Yeah. It's okay, man. It's all butter. That's nothing a
It
little
is.
magic eraser can't take away before you sell it.
Yeah. Yeah, just drain the water. Just tell them, hey, just something you want to know. Take out the plug socket, drain out the water now and then, put it back.
I moved it to a
Good to
covered
go.
storage area, and the guy went in there. Cause I called him. I was like, "Hey, man, how much would this spot be?" He's like, "Dude, I'm quitting on Friday, so I don't give a fuck. I'll just give you a free month." And I was like, "Okay, sick. What do I got to do to make that happen?" He's like, "Nothing. $10." All right, sick.
$10 a month.
No, I get a free month, and then it's like same price I'm paying for the uncovered spot. He just moved me to a covered spot.
There we go. Hell yeah.
You know, it's like sometimes when you just
Quitting in a month.
find $20 in a parking lot, you got to remember to be grateful to the universe. You're like, hey, this is somebody's unfortunate circumstance that I'm benefiting from right now, and
Right.
I appreciate that.
It's going right towards weed.
$20, little man, put that shit in my hand. If you don't, you owe. Oe, yo.
Man, I'm looking forward to our bachelor party.
Oh, dude,
By the
me
way.
too.
Doing a combined bachelor party in Vegas in June, folks. I don't know what if we're gonna record there or
We kind of have to.
tell you the debauchery afterwards. You know,
Kind of got to. I don't know that it'll be public at all, but
we might record it just to see, and then obviously be like, "Well, we're not posting that one."
how many trips have we attempted to record on now and actually been successful? I think we're one of 4.
The only one we were successful on recording and we never posted it was the Tennessee one.
Yeah, it was the very first one.
It was the first one.
But I can think of
Versus
multiple
then-
times we've packed up equipment, brought it places, and then just get too blasted, nothing happens.
Well, it's because we never set things up. You know, we just like, oh, we're gonna set it up.
I
and then
told
next
you
thing
we had to
know,
set
we'll
it up at Oki. I said that. We got to set it
Yeah.
up. And you're like, oh, when we get back, it'll be fine. It'll be fun. We'll do it.
Oh, we have a good time. We're setting it up, you know?
Get back. We got honey buns for feet. And we're like,
2 days later,
2
Stumbling.
days later.
stumbling around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a big ass Airbnb. I'm excited. That's gonna be a sweet Airbnb. We got to book that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dune buggy racing out in the desert. Cirque du Soleil on something. I'm not going to that sober.
I don't even think they recommend you go sober.
Yeah, they're probably like at the door. They're like, "Did you bring anything? All right, here you go. Bring anything? There you go."
Like they do on an airline where they just give you the headphones. They're like,
Yeah.
you need- It's not a megadose. I mean, it's all we can afford for the flight, but
Open your mouth. Take out your tongue. I'm thinking another buddy, Skeens, might want to do the airplane dog fighting thing. Might do
What's
that
that?
one of the days. It's where you can pay. So they'll take you up in an airplane, and you can dog fight with lasers up in the sky, like you're like in a battle up in the sky. And they'll take you up there, and some let you. I think, depending on the cost, they'll either fly for you and you do the laser, or you can fly and do the laser, and they just sit in the back of the plane, take over if anything happens. So you're just flying through the desert where nobody's around.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're thinking about doing that. It's just expensive.
How much is that?
It's like $1,000 a person to do it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, God damn, what an experience that would be,
I need
shooting
a
people
couple
down.
peak experiences. I don't know if that's the one for me. The Doom buggies for sure.
The dune buggy is for sure going to happen. That one's going to happen. I think we definitely need to get like bottle service at a sweet club out there with an artist. It's just so far out; it's hard to see. Well, I say it's so far out. It's in June. We should be able to
2
see
months
what's
away,
coming
dude.
out. Yeah, we should be able to see. I think bottle service at a pretty sweet spot. One of the nights would be awesome. I would like to see if there's a like a UFC fight, a big UFC fight or a big sporting event, probably the UFC fight Saturday night, and go to like Caesar's Sportsbook and bet
Yes.
like on the fight at the Sportsbook. Like this is where it's happening.
Yes.
Right here. And watch the fight like right there,
Well, the last time I was there, I was so hell bent on putting $1,000 on black, and then I've told that story before. Where
Yeah.
it's unfortunate how much they wanted to tax me to pull that money out. So that didn't happen. But it's also my bad. I should have just brought cash.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, it's like $10 every time you want to go to the ATM at
Well, I'm
Vegas.
sure they have I have, for whatever reason, I have like 4 or 5 bank accounts right now. So I'm sure one of them,
you have to walk off the strip to get to them.
do you?
I looked. Yeah. It's not the regular banks on the strip. It's like the banks. It's like they specifically put ATMs only and not banks. So that way it's another revenue generating thing
Yeah.
at the ATMs. I remember. I was pulling out more than I should have
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah. I'm down. I mean, that, and then there's the what's that really cool Black Entertainment Dome? Did we see if that's going to be done by the time we get there?
I haven't got any news if that's going to be done. If that's going to be done, that's going to be awesome.
I'd
go
love
to
to do
that.
that.
Go to Planet 9, I think is what it is, like the biggest dispensary out there.
They also have a not a Wonderland. What's it? A Wonder Space?
Oh, what's the Meow?
Meow Wolf. That's what I'm thinking of.
That's what we're going to. Oh, yeah. Putting that on the list.
And bring some of these critters and go.
Bring some of the bring some spices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just Salt Bay.
It's just water.
Just water.
Don't worry about it. Sir, you can't bring your water in here. Oh, I have to drink all of my water right now. Do I have to? Okay.
I mean, but
That's what it is.
if there's gonna be 3 of this that we're doing this for, does that mean we have to wear the pink cowgirl hats, or
Should we do a group costume one of the nights?
we got to? We're gonna have a mob, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna have about 15 people, 16 people there. We got to do some sort of group thing.
I think the funny thing would be is to go all out on Fear and Loathing, but you have literally all the characters from the movie.
Even the dinosaur heads.
Exactly. So you don't have to you're not just shoehorned into the main 2 people, right? And that's what everyone does. You go all out with the entire cast.
I was thinking tracksuits. We all wear tracksuits with a big old gold chain, fake gold chain.
I could see it. I think I need a more diverse theme. I want someone to have to piece it together. Like, what are they?
What's going on here?
Yeah, like tracksuits to be like, oh, okay, they're down on their luck is what they are. But
that's not down on your luck. That's a baller thing.
no,
what are you
it's
talking
a baller thing. I'm just saying, it depends on what time of the night they catch us at, right? Dude, last time I was in Vegas, I woke up on the side of the highway with no shirt and one shoe missing.
I would rather be found in a tracksuit like that because then there's multiple people that could save me. There can be the frat guys that are like, "Oh, we got to help this guy." It could be the mob boss. He's like, "Oh, we got to help this guy." Could be whatever.
Gotta help this guy. This guy right here. He needs our help.
This guy right here.
He looks like a man that could
Vegas
use some help.
group Vegas costumes. First thing that comes up, Fear and Loathing.
Is that the first thing?
Yeah.
I can't do that then, can you?
You can do onesies. Do a whole onesie thing. You can do a whole bunch of Elvises. Everyone does Elvises.
We could go as Mormons.
Just go.
Like we're
Just
one
a white
family.
shirt and black tie.
Or pilgrims.
You go as pilgrims. Oh man.
But no, I think I love the Mormons thing. Yeah, just the black tie and bicycle helmets.
Man.
Dude.
I don't know. There's not many things. Probably we all go as cowboys. We can all have the baby up front from The Hangover.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know. We got to think of that one. We can all go as Raiders fans.
we'll have enough people. We could do half the NFL.
That's true. Yeah, we could do half and half of something. We can put we can have everyone have a shirt with our faces on it.
Oh, I like
Like-
that.
Make everyone wear both of our faces.
Well, Luke's coming too, isn't he?
Ooh, you know what we could do is have everyone have our face on the front and put the big old Professional Hippies logo on the back of everybody's shirt. Yeah, you gotta wear that.
Sponsored by.
Professional. That's not a bad idea. You just have the code on the people's backs.
I can get behind that.
Or what's the club where they hold up when you get a bottle, they hold up the sign and it says something on the sign?
Oh,
Did it say Professional Hippies on it?
yeah. I mean,
That'd be funny.
I can't remember. Maybe that is Caesars. I mean, just about every club will do it, but I think there's one that's kind of like a little more iconic for it.
There's one more iconic. It's the you've been seeing them come up with like your card declined.
I was at a club one time, and this dude ordered like 4 or 5 bottles of Dom Perignon, which I actually do enjoy as a champagne.
I don't like it.
I like it. Ordered it to his table and then proceeded to just shake it up and pour it all over his friends and then dump the rest of it in the ice bucket.
When I was in Vegas, we were next to it. Our table was next to some Wells Fargo executives, and they just had their whole table full of Dom Perignon. And they were like, "You want a bottle?" We're like, "Yeah, I'll take a bottle." Got a whole free bottle of Dom Perignon. They were like, "We're about to leave, and we can't take it home, so we'll just give it to you guys." Yeah, all dudes, just older guys, like ranging from like mid-30s up to 60.
Mm-hmm.
They were just out partying, I guess, for something.
I just don't get it when they piss away. I mean, granted, not my money, not my problem, but like, I just don't get when they piss away money. Like, regardless how much money you have, like, that's something I've never understood. Like, when you got fuck you money, but you still have a fuck money attitude, how do you keep the money? You know what I mean?
You live in Miami.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people have been talking about, like they're very wealthy in New York, right? I've been hearing this in a lot of podcasts where they're wealthy in New York, but you don't really go out. Like your wealth is more portrayed like when you go out to clubs or you kind of hang out with people. It's usually in your outfits and what you wear. These New York guys are going to Miami and they're like, it's a whole different style of showing wealth. It's flaunted everywhere. Boats, cars, outfits, jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't retain their assets or what they have. It's not in their accounts.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was something that this is going to probably be one of my closing thoughts here, but that was something I was thinking about recently with you is that really to be really wealthy in America, you just have to be in the top 1%, and that's making $400,000 a year. Which at this current position in my life doesn't sound unattainable at all. It doesn't sound like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. It's like, hey, it's going to take work, and I feel like there's some part of me that's going to have to evolve. There's some part I'm going to have to figure out how to get there, but it doesn't feel unattainable. And to think about like Dylan, if I said, hey, your take home is going to be $310,000 after taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much your lifestyle would change. It would definitely, something would happen, right? But
I honestly don't think it would change much. The way it would change for me is I would be grinding out more business ideas. Like,
right.
Ooh, I have more money to use to kind of go towards things I want to do more, get more real estate, get this, get that, like that. I mean, that's where my mind went when I got to where I am now. Was like, ooh, more business ventures. That's what I like to do. Now, mind you, does it open? What did I travel a lot more? For sure, but
right.
I wasn't just like frivolously going like my car is paid off, right? And so many people have been like, well, why don't you get a new car? Like, you can afford it. Go get, like, it's a 2018. You've had so many car issues. Now that they're fixed and the car's paid off, I'm just like,
I
but it's paid off.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that now,
Dude, that
you know?
payment is sweet, isn't it?
God damn, it's nice,
Yeah.
you know? When you reach that point.
Daddy's got another $800 coming out this month. But I fucking love that truck, man. I love that
It's
truck.
a sick truck, dude. I never thought I'd see you with a truck either. I definitely thought I would have seen you with, like, another, because you had the Scion. Usually you go from, like, Scion to another, like, little sports car.
Yeah.
You were like Scion, motherfucking truck.
But you also
Not-
understand how
not any
much
truck.
shit we used to cram in that Scion.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and not just any truck, diesel. You're like diesel, baby.
Diesel. Well, it holds the
We went-
value. You know.
We went full Texas.
So I think it's just a matter of just getting into the 1%, and that 1% is such an incredible lifestyle. You know.
And we just need more people to like and follow. Start liking this episode. Start following. People help us make money so we can help you listen more.
Well, better
All right.
yet, hey, y'all stay safe out there and order yourself a test kit from testkitplus.com/professional hippies. You too can help support yourself by supporting us. I mean, you supporting yourself supports us, but we really are in it just for your safety. So again, that is testkitplus.com/professional hippies. We do personally use them, and I send them out to people as well to keep them safe. So for $20, save your life, save your friend's life, save your mama's life
Save everything.
by liking and subscribing.
Like it, subscribe it, brush up against it, send to your friends, send those you love. I don't know, everything. Also, I can't keep up with the episodes you like. It's always the ones I never think are going to pop off, and it's just like, bam, they just
Isn't
pop
that the
off.
funny part?
You're like, oh, I didn't think that would happen, and then boom, there it goes. All right, I definitely thought this one would have popped off, but 420 episodes definitely coming up. I think we're going to try to get Ham Dog back on, everybody's
We're gonna
favorite
try.
guest.
We've had some travel complications.
Well, if he gets a little bit higher, he can fly here quick enough.
So you did there, Blimpy.
All right. Follow, like, share. Till next time, everyone. Peace.